the sun goes down on you. You gotta keep that shine on top, yeah. On top, yeah. On top.
Good morning, class. This morning I'll be picking work done by Roberto Tica. The objective of the class was to focus on texture. Well, to begin it, there are two types of texture: visual texture and tactile texture. Well, the texture that was mostly focused in this class, or this class setting, was the visual texture, because it was drawing. And the composition is the torso of a female model, female figure seated on a chair. The medium is black charcoal and white charcoal. Now, elements that used in this artwork are lines, values, space, and which help create a movement. As when you look at it, you see a diagonal movement throughout the composition. The way it was placed from below the neck of the model, come down to the leg or close to the vagina. It's placed in a diagonal position. The use of tones also create movement around and throughout the composition. As you look again, you see the light here on the plastic wrap created the movement that comes straight down. Then the light on the abdomen area on her belly comes down and it goes out from the hands and the leg. The way he used values is to show the contrast between light and dark, which is created interest, because based on the objective was to focus on texture. The highlighted areas on the plastic wrap create this different feel than the light on the abdomen, the highlight on the abdomen, because they use the color of the paper to create the highlight on the abdomen, and then use the white charcoal on the plastic wrap to create a more higher highlight, which shows the difference from the skin of the model and the plastic wrap. But again, in terms of composition, with this in the foreground and then the background, I think that the way he did his background, like, kind of exclude the chair in a way. It shows, that's why you see it, and it kind of tell you that she's like just bracing on something and not sitting in a relaxed kind of position. Coming to, I think that if more emphasis was, or more work was to be done on the background or the chair, you can have more texture to play around with, because the chair had a different texture. The plastic wrap is something different texture and or skin texture. So I think if you could have added chair in and like do a little more work on it, you could show that she's braced on something or sitting on something, and also you add to the composition the objective of the class, like focus on texture. You did a very well job with the tones, but I think the background wasn't like, if you had done a little more, like, don't do that much dark on the background, you would have, because I doubt whether the light was that harsh on the model. And as you see, it come back to the chair. It takes her from the chair So if this was if it been a light tone, you could have, this chair would be more visible and you could add to the composition. You could see that the figures seated on something or bracing something, which create this relaxed position of the model. It looked as though, because when you were starting the work, you started with some harsh charcoal, with harsh lines, and then start caving in, because you weren't sure about the objective, but I think that's why you came up with this dark value and contrast to create, because it kind of take away from the texture. It's more like you go with, as said, the light and dark, more focus on tones when you looked at it. In terms of composition, again, come back. I think, could have done a little more work here, or like bring back the composition, the figure more to you, to my right, because this part here it also takes away from the composition. Gives you to bring in more about this, put this out, or bring back the whole figure itself, but to create more interest or make a more effective composition. But overall, I think you focused on the objective, but needed to work more on your tones when it comes to objective. Focus on the objective. Your tones kind of went a little too far with the tones. But I think that's because of your initial start, when you started off. But then again, I like to say that even though you didn't start off with the objective in mind, you still came out and worked towards the objective at the end. Focus more on your tones, keep up the work, and work in your composition.